on Blood Covenant. It's going to be Slash versus Athena. Potentially high-flying action between these two on a lovely day of Quake here. Week 11 of the Quake Pro League. And we are live between rapha and nosfa on Blood Covenant, map number 1.
And there's the Slash. Already takes away the rail, does a lot of damage, and is going to get across to do some potentially some damage onto the Mega. Luckily, Athena's pretty quick herself, so nosfa gets himself across there. But rapha very much in positional control already, and setting the tone for the map early on. He just wants to play fast and quick, and we know rapha generally will want to choose a champion where he takes the speed advantage, and already he's trying to use that to its fullest. Great defensive play from nosfa, getting rapha down, and will actually take away the frag, so nicely played, rapha overcommitting.
Not bad at all from nosfa. He'll take those, but he's going to drop down. Needs to be careful. There's the machine gun at a distance. nosfa takes a little bit of damage. Slowing down before going through the blood pool here. Ooh, that rocket was almost perfect, but the rail follow-up, not too bad. Doing a good job of denying the rail for rapha right now, too. Just waiting. Yes. rapha only has LG, slowly creeping onto the rockets.
It's going to be hard, but that has to be at least an element of what he thinks about. You know, the rail is always going to be so pivotal, but containing that is always difficult, particularly against someone like a Slash who could just fly on by. It's just a risky tactic. nosfa decides to play, try and steal away the Mega, but you can see the speed of Slash coming and taking it away. nosfa connecting with way more damage though, actually nullifying the entire pickup. Rocket doesn't connect though, but nicely played by nosfa, more than acutely aware, and you can see he's playing slow and calculated because of how fast the Slash is. He has to maintain position, and the Rocket's a huge 2-0, and a lovely rail as well.
Okay, nosfa, we see you here. Some nice start here. Still a little weak on the stack. Can he get the cut off? The rail will land, but the rocket will miss, and rapha plants him and gets the Mega. Little unfortunate here, but nosfa off the spawn needs to play very careful against Slash. So mobile, I think he chased him down, maybe saw just a tiny bit of him, and now nosfa has to get the hell out of there, but he can't. rapha finds him again with another rail to plant him to tie it at 2.
This is the problem. As much as rapha's given away a few frags, nosfa's had one item, and rapha's already got a huge split between the two items. He's rotating them. Yes, he's been taking damage, but you know, if nosfa doesn't connect with that damage, suddenly he's under a huge amount of pressure. And this is what rapha's doing. He's forcing the pressure onto nosfa. Actually now got himself onto the Mega this time, so he gets another item, but he's eating some damage for his troubles.
Nice hook to get out of there. But yeah, good damage from rapha, making sure the item's not free as he's waiting on the bridge. Timing on the heavy is perfect. Still tied at 2. And yeah, rapha has, again, adaptation, the ability to kind of give up frags, knowing that he can get them back. And ooh, that rocket was actually pretty great. There's the flick of the wrist into the LG, and nosfa can't land the damage except for that last rocket. Defensive rocket to keep him out, and just in the nick of time, rapha able to get onto the Mega and probably get back to this heavy for free, but instead he's going to chase, and this is what makes rapha so good. Doesn't just play the items, plays the opponent, Dan.
He's the best in the world at understanding how much damage he can give and what resources are on the map. And that entire push was based on the premise that he had the Mega and lights to fall back on. And the pressure is just relentless. The Slash is so scary. And as much as the slow playstyle was working, this is the problem when it stops working. Unless you connect with absolutely everything, Slash gets the opportunity to walk all over you. So nosfa needs to find some defensive positions, get some items, and try and prohibit Slash from playing a free game. And that's a good start. rapha actually slight mistiming there. nosfa jumps down on it, but he's stuck and not connecting now. And who's going to come out on top? rapha, because he's the one with the resources in this corner. nosfa hits again!
Oh my goodness. I thought nosfa was going to go 3 for 3. Potential here off the spawn. The shotgun barely coming through. Shoddy Pippin off the rim and in, but rapha will take it 6-2.
But he's just sweeping the map of resources. nosfa's doing so much damage, but when you're playing against an opponent with almost double the resources to you, you have to hit twice as much. Unfortunately for nosfa, he's not been doing that as he gets red with a shotgun to the face. And rapha is all over him now.
Oh no, not like this. Ooh, I like the hook and into the rail. Can nosfa do it? He did it with the machine gun swap! And that's the kind of stuff that makes Rapha just, his eyes will roll into the back of his head permanently and be like, why would you ever do that?
I mean, this is the moment where I really wanted to see that webcam, but Nos just making it happen. And again, I really agree. I love the progressive play, the use of the grapple just to do some damage and offset the shotgun. Rapha's shotgun has been questionable. The rest of his gameplay, not so much. 7-4, 5 minutes gone. Nosfa, though, needs to find a way to use this to build some momentum, get onto some items. The Mega's up. Does he know the timing? Even if he does, Rapha's obviously there and connects with some damage himself. Great exchange from Nosfa, though. His rail has been his saving grace. And if he can keep that up, he's always going to be in with a shout. Lovely again. Lovely rail from him there. Interesting use of the tripod, but he does so much damage into the rail!
Dan, what are we witnessing right now? Nosfa popping off right now. For those playing the home version, he's got 140 ping against Rapha's 35. And he just connects with all these rails. Of course, I curse it right there as Rapha drives by to get a rail of his own. Tries to get a little bit of damage on the Mega. The machine gun will fend him off. And Nosfa's right back in this one, only down 1.
I mean, if you hit your rails, you always have a chance of winning a duel. And Nosfa is connected with his rails at this point in time.
Whew.
I do still feel he needs to get onto more items, but if he can at least keep control of the Mega side of the map, that is going to be enough. He's done an amazing job for the most part of containing the pressure of Slash. Yes, there was a few conversions in there, but when Nosfa's set up, he's very difficult to break down, and this is what you're seeing. He's playing slow to try and listen and use his audio cues to understand what Rapha's doing, to try and prevent it, manage these choke points. He's done it very, very well.
Good machine gun there. Nice push from Rapha, but he needs to be careful as he jumps around the corner in the LG and he's going to get melted down!
Again, a lovely position from Nosfa, not really moving, but he had all of the angles detected. He had a get out clause because he had his grapple if he needed it. Playing very smart.
Superb play from Nosfa right now as he ties it at 7 minutes in. We got a ball game. Here's a push. Rapha with the nail gun, but he's out of LG and he misses with the rail. Rapha gets the better of him, and that is heartbreaking if you're a Nosfa fan. Had him dead to rights, but just not enough cells.
That is heartbreaking. It's not over yet. He's shown he's got the recipe to forge a comeback and take Rapha down. But that is hard. That is hard because all of the work to get in that position, get the items and all the weapons, he has to start that again. And Rapha with the conversion makes it even harder.
He does have rail and LG. He's been using those weapons immaculately throughout this map here. Just missing out on some of these rails.
And it's one of those situations where, you know, you have to take that committal. The opportunity's there. It doesn't matter if you don't have a huge amount of ammo. You have to take it. And unfortunately for Nosfa, it did come back to bite him. And now he's trying to make something happen, but it's just not working. His rail's beginning to miss pretty much the first time this map. And Rapha has both items in lockdown. He's even slowing the pace ever so slightly just because he's beginning to respect Nosfa's playstyle more.
Can we see a little bit of magic? A little bit more from Nosfa here. Already seen a ton on map number 1, but Rapha firmly in the lead with 2. Has the high ground. A little bit of a misstep it looked like in the crouch slide, but Nosfa still standing his ground.
He was baiting Nosfa out. He knew where he was camped. And you can see he's reading Nosfa now. You can see the respect. Before he would have been pushing in, trying to go super aggressive, but now more than happy to manage the game. Keep Nosfa at bay. As long as he connects with some unreturned damage, there's not much Nosfa can do. And the way he's pathing, he's prohibiting any rail angles from Nosfa. It's really tough now for Nosfa. There's a minute left. If he gets a frag, there's always that conversion potential. But look at the stack difference. Question is, he has to hit 3 or 4 rails in a row to really make this count. Rapha let him do that. And the answer is no.
That LG just melts. As you said, the stack differential too much to overcome there. So now it's a 3 frag game. Nosfa gets right back on the rail. It hasn't been as lucrative as it was in the beginning of this game, but he's got 40 seconds to make some magic happen here. Missing with the first one, the machine gun will fend him off, and he's already so weak even after a 25 pickup.
So another really admirable display by Nosfa, and if he continues the momentum into later maps, definitely in with a shout here. The slash was probably arguably the hardest thing to go up against, and he nearly took it down. The Athena counter pick has worked out great, and in reality, the Athena utility hasn't been used that much. It's all been down to just how he's approached the game. So that's what's really impressed me, as well as how clinical he was.
Yeah, beautiful performance here. Rapha, in the end, taking it 10-8 on Blood Covenant. And I mean, that just goes to show, you know, as you kind of mentioned, Rapha giving up some frags early, but in the wise words of philosopher Marshawn Lynch, Rapha knows he's going to get got, but he's going to get his more than he gets got, though. You know what I'm talking about, Dan? As we saw. Take a look at the highlights
I lost
here.
Some brain cells from that statement.
I'm so glad that I share this booth with you. As we take a look at the highlights from Blood Covenant, a fantastic play. I mean, for a while there, Rapha was really utilizing the shotgun a lot, and similar to nosfa's rail, it dropped off. nosfa popping off at the rail. Later on in the duel, it started popping off, and you saw the opportunities close. The door was closing for any kind of engagement opening based on those weapons.
This is my point. I think I said it in the mid game that, you know, as much as nosfa was doing an amazing job to stay in the game, he was staying in the game because Rapha had full control. He was the one putting the pressure on, and by doing that, he keeps the pressure on you to continue executing. As soon as you start missing, that you're so vulnerable that Rapha can just sweep in and kind of finish you off, and that's what we saw in the final frag. You know, nosfa had to hit 3 or 4 more rails than Rapha, and eventually he just couldn't have the damage output. And so that's what Rapha continues to do. He builds the pressure to the point where you then fold, and then he can convert on you, keep it on, and it snowballs. And it's so hard to break that. But when you do break that, and nosfa did a couple of times, that's when Rapha's really vulnerable, because he can struggle to get back into sets. We've seen it before where he throws his body at you and he tries to get back the control. And if it doesn't work, he's suddenly at such a deficit, there's no way back. And that's when we see Rapha lose. But how many players do you ever see break it to the point where Rapha can't get back into a set? You know, you can count them on one hand in a season. So nosfa nearly did it today. He's got 2 more maps to see if he can do it again.
Yeah, and it's really hard to count Rapha out even when he is trailing, because we have seen him overcome these deficits of, you know, 6-7 frags and just make magic happen. So he's never down and out. And going into map number 2, where there is no rail, Corrupted Keep, do you see nosfa being in any kind of trouble based on that? I mean, he relied on the rail heavily. He couldn't really fall back so well on the LG rocket. I know it's a new ball game, but based on that situation, do you see any problems here for nosfa on map number 2?
Definitely needs to be more offensive now. He was very reactive, very defensive, which was working well, and he had to be. That's playing against a slash. You can't always be the aggressor. There were definitely times where he was outgunning with the rockets and LG, a couple of great frags of both of them. So he's got the utility, but he has to now play the items. He can do it. We know he can do it, but Rapha, this is one of Rapha's home maps. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be even harder this map, if I'm honest. But we've seen, if you can break that stranglehold of Rapha, particularly map like Corrupted Keep and even Veil, there are 2 maps where it snowballs out of his control. So if nosfa can break that, he's in for a good shout.
Well, we're going to get into it. Map number 2 on Corrupted Keep is going to go live here shortly. And the predictions, 87% in favor of Rapha, 13 for nosfa. We'll see if chat makes a ton of channel points or same business as usual here as we're starting off on nosfa.
Yeah, Rapha's already got him on lockdown. He knows exactly what's going on. Actually orbs up through the LG. Smartly played by nosfa. Gets in and does a lot of damage. Big rocket coming out. Gives him plenty of time now to work his way around the map, take away more resources from Rapha, but he needs an LG.
Little shotgun blast. Has to be worried about Timmy popping off through the LG. He's going to make note of that for later, but right now he still smells blood in the water, just missing out on that rocket.
Rapha forced to slow it down after losing out on that engagement. nosfa knows what's up though. No items up for quite a while, so they're just teasing each other out, playing the mid-road. Rapha winning out on that damage though. He's also in a better position, but they are probably going to trade items here. As Rapha goes on early for the heavy, nosfa exchanges that for the mega.
And I really love the machine gun damage from Rapha, just keeping that damage output as high as possible, especially on this map. Again, no rail. Very, very critical that you do that and pre-aim around your corners.
Yeah, this map more than others is completely true. The damage efficiency is king. If you can get that early engagement with the heavy machine gun, the distance damage, it makes all of these close combat engagements far easier and more likely for you. But at the moment, they're actually just trading positions, trading items. Rapha makes the aggressive position to steal away that Mega, but nosfa's got the orb if he wants to use it, and actually decides against it. So Rapha will take full map control, and nosfa's going to have to find a defensive position now.
Yeah, nosfa just does not feel confident in it, playing nice and defensive, but Rapha knows that he has him where he wants him, but the LG a little bit early. Dire Orb into the Rockets, can he land it? LG tickle, and wow, 2 HP. nosfa, he's still got rabbits to pull out of his head, Dan.
That was such a great maneuver, one of those that will definitely frustrate Rapha, but at the same time, it's one of those that doesn't really matter because he died with so little health. Rapha now has an even better position. Fully stacked, hasn't got LG, but all of the items. So in essence, it's not the end of the world that Rapha lost that fight.
Lots of LG, but he runs out of cells, and Rapha melts him down with the machine gun regardless, taking the lead 2-1. For those playing the home version, the servers have swapped. Rapha's on at 150 ping, nosfa on 15. Oh, getting a little crazy there with the shotgun play, the all-in around the lava.
Yeah, the problem I'm seeing now is that nosfa's relented on pressuring the items, and he's, once again, he's not really finding a way to get onto them, and so Rapha, similarly to last map, is able to take more and more risks to keep the pressure on, and nosfa's on the back foot. We've discussed it. Without that rail, it's almost impossible. So definitely want to see nosfa doing more out on the map and trying to get onto these items, or at least pressuring them.
Playing really slow around the Rockets here. Gets a big one, but he also gets 2 big buckshot blasts to the chest as Rapha tacks on another one.
Wouldn't be surprised if he just leaves him low down there to take away the items. There's not much nosfa can do. Yeah, and Rapha decides just to take away the lights as well as the heavies and the megas and everything else on the map. And so what nosfa has to rely on now is traps. Set traps, deal massive damage, even having to orb to get away and get a rocket. And a big delay as well onto the heavies, so nosfa's in a world of trouble for the next minute or two unless he can find some big shots through the TP. There's one, but has he got the confidence to even look at the Mega?
Deals with Timmy rather quickly here, but he's just trying to live off an armor shard. He can't seem to find one. Still 100 HP, and now Rapha knows exactly where he is, and 3 beautiful rockets strung together from Rapha.
I've been in this situation many, many times on maps like this. It becomes, you feel so hopeless because all that happens is you stand on the light armor hoping it's going to spawn. Then your opponent rushes you because they have all items on lockdown. You run to the next light armor and it's not there, and you wait. And you just get chased around the map like a rabbit. You feel so hopeless. And at the moment, nosfa has to find a way to change the tide of this map because he can't even get a light armor. It's very difficult.
A lot of machine gun damage. Rapha relentless on the pressure, 7-1, and as you said, it just looks like nosfa doesn't have the answers. Wherever he wants to be, Rapha is on top of it as he is controlling the entire map. And instead of nosfa pulling a rabbit out of his hat, Rapha stuffing nosfa right back into that hat, saying, no, you're not going anywhere. 8-1, and this one is slipping out of control, Dan, to say the least.
And this is why a lot of pros even don't like playing these maps, because they can be incredibly risky. Without a rail, you have to play the map. There's nothing else you can do. It's almost impossible to play a defensive game without items. At least on a map with a rail, you can play defensive, connect with some rails, and that wins you some breathing space. That's not possible on this map. You have to get on it. You have to play it. And at the moment, Rapha's the only one playing it.
Looking a bit brutal indeed. 6 minutes in, 9-1. nosfa just trying to find a glimmer of hope somewhere. Maybe a good rocket into an orb, anything to kind of stop this onslaught from Rapha here. A little bit of shotgun damage around. The rocket won't land. There's the Timmy. There's the Dire Orb play again, just diving all in. Can he at least steal this heavy away? And he just missed positions, and Rapha melts him down before the pickup is even allowed, and it just doesn't end. The nightmare doesn't end, Dan.
But that was the play, and that's what I meant. Even if you haven't gone into work with, you're a ranger. You can make those plays because you have an orb. Problem is he didn't have the timing. So it was a hit and hope at that point, and the hope didn't work.
But that exchange was really good.
Yeah, and that's what he needed to do, but he needed to do that a little bit earlier because now he's running out of time.
Does get the heavy, does have Dire Orb, and he doesn't need it. 5
Nice.
HP, somehow surviving. Can he last these next 3 seconds? Rapha's gonna push. There's the Dire Orb. Almost made some absolute absurd magic happen on that one. But alas, it's not to be as Rapha just jumps down casually, melting him down again, 12-2.
Oh, it's painful. And that's the nature of a snowball map. If you die with low HP, you're gonna die off the bat to a freshly spawned player, and nosfa is... This one's definitely over. We know why Rapha's so strong here. We know why not many players like to play a map like this against Rapha, and you've seen it to its fullest. So this was a prime example of how to play this kind of map absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, I'm gonna start calling Rapha Terry Tate because the pain train is coming right now. 13-2. And nosfa still has to be in the server for another 220. And it's going to be painful, Dan. 22 HP stuck behind there. Okay, that's one way to get out of there.
Yeah, painful. 13-1, but it feels a lot... And trust me, in nosfa's shoes, that feels a lot worse than 30-1. Because it's not the type of map where you even had a contest. It's just been one-way traffic. And that rocket was just... perfect. So yeah, this is another textbook example of how to play a map from Rapha. It's yeah, I don't know what to say. Really great play.
Championship level play here from Rapha, controlling the entire map and, as you said, just suffocating his opponent. Trying to live off armor shards, can't do it. Rapha's there. Trying to live off majors, can't do it. Don't have the timing. Rapha's there. There's more LG as well.
What's his items for nosfa? Because I'll be surprised if he even had anywhere near as many lights as Rapha.
11 lights to Rapha 17, but more concerning, 3 heavies, 3 megas to 13 and 14 for Rapha. So yeah, just item control firmly in Rapha's grasp, even the lights.
But again, in Quake Champions, obviously, you can't pick it up unless you're below the threshold. And so that just shows you how efficient Rapha is at using stack. And this is one of the differences that turns a great player to an elite player, is it's obviously you can run around the map fully stacked, but you want to be using it. It's a resource. And Rapha is the master at using as much of the stack as he needs to then continue to take the map away. It's definitely a skill that doesn't get talked about enough. And Rapha is so good at that side of the game that it makes your life hell. Because you deal damage to him, it's almost hurting you. Because you're going to deal damage and he's going to steal more of the map away because you've done damage to him. So yeah, it's really hard. And it's difficult to explain how hard it is.
And chat, you heard it here from our financial advisor. Based on this game, you got to spend stack to make stack, okay? So write that down in your books. Make sure when you're dueling that you do that, taking the engagements at the right time to fall back on the items and deny them from your opponent. And it was a masterclass here. nosfa does get one on the board with the Dire Orb shotgun, but way too little, way too late. This one was firmly Rapha's from start to finish. And again, absolutely a masterclass on how to control the items, when to engage, and how to fall back on certain items, be it small or majors.
Yeah, that's a soul-crushing victory from Rapha. That's where you just grind your opponent into the ground. Give him a swirly, I think, as you call it in the States. I'm sure you experienced a few of those at high school.
Well, right now, yeah. I give one to myself because I don't have a hairstylist. But yeah, no, it was brutal from start to finish, but it was almost so brutal that you're just kind of are like, whatever, that's done. I feel like if it was closer, it'd be more heartbreaking, like kind of like you mentioned before. Like nosfa was just like, look, I'm suffocated, I can't do anything. Whatever, put that out of sight, out of mind going into map number 3, because again, there's still money to be made. There's still position on the leaderboard to try and you know, contest for, but this one was just all Rapha.
And it's unfortunately what we said could happen on this particular map, and he has to, as you say, put it behind him now, move on to the next map, because map 1 from nosfa's perspective was almost perfect. Again, going up against a Slash on the Blood Covenant is very difficult, and nosfa managed it well. Now, can he restore his confidence going into the final map, get that rail up and running once again? He's going to have to if he's going to be even in with a hope of a shot.
Yeah, as a reminder, we're going to get an avail for map number 3, and it's going to be Nosfa on the Galena and Death Knight for Rapha. And as we mentioned before, Galena can be very strong as long as you get the totem positioning right, you get the economy going early to deny the tele play to get to the top level. But if you don't do that and you're running into flames, it could just be a nightmare as well. So it really is completely on Nosfa to try and dictate the pace of the game early and make sure he sets up that defense and gets that overstack rolling for him.
Yeah, there's definitely different ways you can play it, and the good thing about a Galena on this particular map is you can almost retreat into your Fortress of Solitude back in that rail area, the light armor area. If you can build that overstack up, you've got the light to play with, you can maybe challenge and get the heavy. That's generally all you need, and you feel happy enough to play the map that way. You don't even need to look at the high ground if you're being bullied out of that space. So that's why Galena is a really nice pick here, because it gives you more options. But at the same time, as you say, if you can get that high ground, use the totems to block the entrance and play a nice, strong, fast-paced game, Death Knight, once he's burned his Flame Strike, not much he offers. So you're in with a shot at that point.
Yeah, and you could kind of hear him, you know, coming from afar with the galloping hoofs too. So sound might play an issue, but we'll see. Map number 3, taking a look at the predictions, 86% for Rapha. That's pretty on par with what we think, based on just the history and what was going down in this set. So we'll see. We'll see if Nosfa has just a little bit left in the tank to try and take this one, but it's all on him. And Rapha has taken the series officially, but he wants that 3-0.
He will indeed. I expect it to come. Well, saying that, you know, it's always Veil generally when Rapha decides to lose.
It's his best map, and it's his favorite.
It's his best map. I do remember. So we'll have to see. Again, if it comes down to the rail, and we've seen even players like Jane, you know, they can play just almost a solely rail-based game on this particular map. Use those angles wisely. You can upset anyone. It's definitely not without reason that Nosfa could take this one away.
Any given Saturday here, as we are live on map number 3 between Rapha and Nosfa. Nosfa trying to get a map on the board in the series. LG in the Thunderdome early from Rapha. Nosfa grabbing the rockets, and he just takes so much rocket damage into the flames. Does he have a health bubble? He has 1, but Rapha knows exactly where he is.
Yeah, that was a bit aggressive to go right through there. I think he just actually wants to get into the lining out area, but Rapha shot that down. And Big Rockers actually should be able to convert here. Lovely rail from Nosfa, but it's not going to be enough. Rapha already taking the lead away. We'll cut him off here through the TP. Actually, won't even get through the TP, but they do trade. Best of a bad situation for Nosfa.
Really nice
And
LG there.
Spawn. Yeah, that's not even a good spawn though. Rapha will actually get the items, and Nosfa's on the back foot once again.
Nosfa not even taking the armor shard, doesn't want to get caught out. Opts for the other one instead, backs up into it with a good rail. Now it's LG on LG, but he doesn't get the beat on him in time, and he might go down, and he does. Rapha with an early lead here, 4-1, a minute 10 in.
And you can see by his movement that he's feeling confident, able to play the map so quickly. Got both major items on lockdown now, and Nosfa is really clutching at straws. Running into the Flame Strike is not what you want to do!
No! Nosfa, please!
Yeah, not the play, as he loses out on the lights as well. And this is also now where you begin to second guess what you should be doing. You're losing out playing aggressive. It's too late now scoreline wise to slow it down massively, but you almost have to. And you're in this catch-22 where you almost feel obliged to continue the pressure, but it's not working. None of these frags has been, I guess, a dirty frag. They've all been fairly clean from Rapha's perspective. Nosfa has managed to get onto the Mega, so good timing there. Rapha will just back on out, take the high ground away, set up for this next heavy. It's been a perfect start from Rapha in map 3.
Trying to do some damage from up above, a little bit of a tickle from down below as the rail does connect from Rapha. Nosfa just playing with the idea of going through. There's the rocket jump and just gets by. Not bad at all. Glimmer of hope here is Rapha now a little bit early on the Mega, but just in time. The totem will heal him. There's another one, but Rapha just pins him in the corridor. Just nothing but LG.
Yeah, I mean, I actually thought it was the right play for Nosfa, but he got himself stuck into a bit of a corner there, and you could see the thought process. He did a good job to steal away both major items, but Rapha made sure he was in position to punish both pickups. Nosfa should be able to get a frag here. I say should, with a big capital S. He does eventually.
Rapha tripping on a rocket right now, giving up a frag to nosfa. And more importantly, map control. Both items in his possession. Totem's going to be up in the pocket in 2 seconds as well. There's LG on LG. Rapha drops down, gets caught off guard a little bit, but does good damage. And so as you always say, I mean, if you're going to blow a lead, blow it early. Still 6.5 minutes left for nosfa to try and get back in. Only down by 5. It's not too bad. Slowing down the game, making sure he's getting the items. I think he's done a good job of slowing the pace down, and now he has a real opportunity here, but he's taking a big flame strike to the face. Tribolt's not going to be the weapon of choice here. LG will be, and he will take him down for a second frag.
Yeah, definitely. If you're gonna lose a big lead, lose it in the first minute. Exactly what happened, and really good composure from nosfa as well to stabilize, get back into the game. Made sure he had good timings on the items and got himself back into it. Rapha though has managed to do a lot of damage. He should be able to get the frag, and he does. And that's all it takes, really. Now he will be able to pick up both major items. nosfa should want to contest this heavy as he needs to. He knows he's done a fair bit of damage, but he's actually just decided to rescind it in favor of picking up some of the weapons instead.
Ooh, just missing out on that rail, but so does Rapha. Luckily for nosfa here. If you can't do damage, don't take damage, but now he's at natural stack, and that is a fantastic rail from Rapha. Fully vertical, hits a double as well.
Yeah, you can also see Rapha somewhat slowing the pace down as he has begun to respect the aggression from nosfa as well. Also putting up some good defense, and so Rapha slowing it compared to the first few minutes. But when he senses an opportunity, he will go full steam ahead. As I said, just using that stack, picking up the light, picking up the heavy, pick up more resources. So good at knowing how much damage he can take, and that's what he's done once again. And perfect rail off the spawn, another conversion.
Just making it look easy here as we're past the midway point. And nosfa just seems to be struggling. He's getting locked out of the map. He's living off lights, luckily for him, but now short-lived as the flames and the shotgun cut him down.
And I think, Rapha makes it look so easy. When he makes a move, he's rewarded for it, whereas nosfa has to work so hard for everything. We'll get the light, heavy, should I say, this time. Rapha's just going to let him stay alive for half a second more, count his blessings before scooting along to pick up the light and the next mega. And it's rinse and repeat for the American.
So in this position, is there anything you think nosfa can do to even get back into this? I mean, the aggression isn't really working. It's pretty tempered now.
It's going to sound obvious, but yeah, rail, try and get the high ground as he's done here, do some damage onto the pickups, but it's obviously very hard. He's going to try and go aggressive, but every single frag he goes away makes it even harder to get a comeback. And as I said kind of early on, you're now caught between two minds of how much you need to take risks, and with 4 minutes to go. Woo! Okay. With 4 minutes to go, you have to take lots of risks.
That was a beautiful shot. But again, I can't help but feel like a small highlight reel in a big loss says 11-3. There's still a lot more work to be done, but you do love to see it.
The highlights is where you make your fame, right?
That's where you make the money, baby. That's where you get the sponsors. Look at that rail. Oh my god.
What
rocket retaliation.
Come on.
Just getting through the telly. Is he going to risk it? nosfa. Oh, Rapha pulls it out with 1 HP, or damn near 1 HP. I couldn't even tell what he had, but it was very, very low. And now he gets caught out at the armor shard, but Rapha's struggling with the rockets a little bit. The shotgun isn't going to land as well. But another rail coming up clutch from beyond the arc.
GG.
Dan has officially called it. Stop the match.
I wish it was that way. I wish I had that power.
You do. You're that powerful to me, Dan. 13-3 for Rapha. Unfortunately for nosfa, there's 2.5 more minutes of the pain train. But again, nosfa doing great damage. You just can't finish these frags, and almost gets another one, does Rapha, but nosfa plants him with a rail of his own.
But Rapha did so much damage. nosfa doesn't even want to push now because he doesn't feel confident. Insane how much damage Rapha did in that situation. nosfa's managed to keep himself in it to a certain degree. Ooh, Rapha just doing Death Knight things.
Yeah, just putting nosfa between two burns right there as the fire takes him out yet again, even after the fact. Oh, third-degree burns, Dan.
Did he
It's
just
not
get
good.
2 frags with 1 flame
It's
strike?
not good. Yeah, 2 frags, 1 fire.
Come on, that's like the only ability that can do that. You gotta nerf that.
I think technically Sorlag can do it too, but yeah,
Yeah,
I get what.
that's a lot harder, I guess. But yeah.
Whew. Well, minute 40 on the board, 16-5. I feel like Rapha's going to take this one, but you know, somewhere Zoot is saying there's still time. So,
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
well, yeah, I mean, in this position again, you're going against the greatest of all time, and if you don't get a good start, it's going to be this. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but nosfa putting up a great fight. Again, more LG damage, but Rapha just too strong, powers through, and he's able to get the heavy. Good machine gun damage off the spawn, but Rapha able to swap to LG, and just in case of emergency, deploy fireballs.
Oh, it's satisfying to see it. It's more satisfying to execute it. But poor nosfa and poor nosfa fans out there.
It is rough to see. It is very, very rough, especially after that just almost perfect map number 1 from nosfa. Nice rails here. Totem goes down, trying to get 3 for 3, and he does.
We've seen 2 really good sets. I mean, they've both been 3-0s, but very good in their different ways. This one, mainly because of the clinical execution from rapha. Obviously, map 1 was amazing from nosfa, even though he lost. But map 2, and to a certain extent this one, where again, we're almost clinical expressions of just how to play these maps. So methodical, so calculated, but also so difficult to execute consistently.
Oh no, he wants 20. I think there's some incentive on payment if he hits 20, and there it is, 20-6. Rapha gets the 20 bomb, and that is it, Dan. Final score, map number 3 between these two.
It is amusing to watch like the 2 sides of Death Knight. Last time we saw Death Knight in Rapha's hands, I don't think he hit a single flame strike, and it was almost a completely useless champion, just lumbering around the map. Whereas on this one,
he got a 2-for-1 deal. He got a coupon.
Barbecued Brazilian steak. It was 2-for-1. It was incredible.
Yeah, again, the Rapha show through and through. I think map number 1 was definitely a toss-up and nosfa's best performance out of the set. Very, very close one, but Rapha does Rapha things, able to take that back, and then from there, Corrupted Keep and Veil was just clinical, as he said, as we've come to know and love Rapha for his play, just putting on a performance for everyone in the chat.
But I have to say, particularly like map 2 was just almost perfect from Rapha, from start to finish, really. Every decision he made, everything he did in the map worked. The way he rotated, the item control, like, that is a map you should watch time and time again if you want to learn how to play Duel well. This one was almost as good. This would definitely have felt better in nosfa's shoes. He would have felt more competitive than map 2. But obviously map 1 was the star of the show in terms of how close it was throughout.
Yeah, no, I mean, no better of a welcome home than a big 3-0 here in the Quake Pro League for Rapha. That'll seal it between these two as we take a look at the final stats for map number 3. And again, a fantastic performance from nosfa on map number 1. It's just like you said, Rapha doing Rapha things, especially map number 2, damn near perfect. But that's it for set number 2. We got 2 more on the way, Dan. Time flies when you're having frags.
And it's us. There's no Papa Wheat to control this insanity.
He's left us alone. It's fantastic, and I can't wait to be an absolute DJ. But we're going to take a quick break. I'm going to rest up because I talk a lot. We'll be right back with more Quake action. Don't go anywhere.